So hello YouTube viewers, welcome back. It's 75 here, aka Michiwichi. I would like to thank my new subscribers, old subscribers and viewers for subscribing, for rating, for favoring, for your comments, for the support. I really appreciate it. I need you to sit down. Today, this is gonna be a subject of controversy. If you read the title, it says the story about two Afrolatinas. So it's gonna be myself. And it's gonna be one of my subbies, one of my close subbies, Miss Valero. Say hey.
Hello, hey YouTube, it's Miss Valero 1211, and I'm just here to support my friend in a lot of different things that they're so different, but it's very similar. And you'll hear the video's gonna be a good one.
Yes, it's gonna be a good one. And basically, it's gonna relate. It's gonna be, we're gonna be talking about our lives, basically. How we grew up, etc., as an Afro-Latina. Because as you can see, well, some people don't know what Afro-Latina means, and I'm going to try to explain it as polite and as quick as I can. Afro-Latina is a person that has African descent, but is Latino at the same time, which is myself and Miss Valero. Now, you want to jump in and start talking about that?
Okay, my whole thing with being a Hispanic that's very dark, that I always loved my color. I've always loved my color. I've always been very comfortable in my skin, and I've never been made to feel different within my family. Now, when I say that, I say being born and raised in New York, all of my family was born and raised in Puerto Rico. And being here and being raised here, I was always raised within the whole Spanish community. Everyone in my family basically looked like me or looked like 75. So I always knew within those colors. I always knew that I could walk over to someone that's my complexion, a darker person, and I knew in my spirit that they would be able to understand me in speaking Spanish because everyone in my family looked like me. So it was like a culture shock when I started school, and then I would walk over to the African Americans, to the teachers, to ask them a simple question, but I only spoke Spanish, and they would not understand me. That was a culture shock. So then to try to make my life more comfortable for myself as a young person, I just basically never spoke. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to offend anyone. And I was tired of people saying, I don't speak Spanish. You don't speak Spanish. Like, that's so rude. So I found myself conforming to different things and being the slight outcast. So I found a lot of comfort within people that look like me, within people that sounded like me, within people that went through the same things that I always and still do go through within my family. Then I found YouTube, and I found myself not being prejudiced, but extracting people that did not have the similarities that I had. So when I found 75, it was just more or less like, oh my God, this is my cousin's sister. This is someone that understands. This is someone that also looks different. I look different. We both look different, and we have basically the same kind of story. The way people have made us feel, the way people have treated us, from a young child to adult to myself, I'm 40. But this thing still go on every single day. It could be a coworker. It could be someone in the street. It could be someone at the bus stop. Because in New York, things is very New York. So they will come at you a certain way, and they will try to then just destroy you with their words. So
Right.
you have this armor to protect yourself and then to defend. And yes, I am Puerto Rican. Well, you don't look like Jago. But I'm saying too much, honey. I'm saying too much.
Okay. Well, I take it from here. I'm gonna take it from here now. Then I go sit down. Well, in my case, I was not born in Puerto Rico, but I was raised in Puerto Rico. Ever since I was a baby, they just got me there. Excuse me, Ladani, don't start when I'm doing the video. And then at 10 years old, I decided to go back to Jersey. And I had like a very different experience from there. you know, I went, you know, when I first, you know, showed up at the school and stuff like that, you know, and they introduce, you know how they be introducing kids and stuff like that. Well, this is Fulana, and she came from, and she came from Puerto Rico or from Dominican Republic or from Cuba, whatever. So yeah, they introduced me and they say, you know, this is Fulana, you know, and she comes from Puerto Rico, this and that, and I see all the kids, everything was cool. Now, remind you, at that time, I did not speak English, okay? My English was not that very good looking, like Celia Cruz used to say, for real. It was very bad, because in Puerto Rico, they don't teach you, like, English, you know, like, to have a conversation unless you go to college, etc. So anyway, está bien. So when I first, you know, sit down with this girl, there were people that speak Spanish, but they, you know, I wasn't really identifying with them, because they used to say that you speak too fast, you talk too fast, and whatever. Where you from? And I'm like, no, you know, I'm from Puerto Rico. Like, you lying, and I said to myself, well, okay, why should I lie about where I don't want to curse because my daughter's here, but about where I come from? Why should I lie about that? No, well, you don't look Puerto Rican, you look Dominican. I'm like, okay, well, that's your opinion. But if we're going to talk about that, there's a lot of people that are my color. Like, if you go to the island, there's more people that look like me than like you. Because, you know, most of the girls that were talking to me like that, they were light-skinned and with straight hair. So you're classifying me because of the way I look. And that wasn't right. So basically, to kind of like cut the story short, I never identify with them. They always see me as a different one. And I always felt like indifferent. I always felt like, you know, they have a kind of like in a specific way that a Puerto Rican should look. I mean, it was just horrible, you know, so I didn't have a good time on that. So, yeah, and, you know, I had a lot of problems because of that. I had a lot of arguments and fights, and, you know, I have a lot of things that I went through. And as an adult, I still going through that too. And you know, in the real life and on YouTube, I still going through that. People telling me, you know, you look a certain way, and I said to myself, how can you look a certain way? Like, what do you how do you have to look? How do you have to look in order for other people to say, well, she's from this country, she's from this other country? How do you have to look, really? I mean, I never understood that. Do you understand that, Falero? Because I never did.
Yeah, I've been through that also. I remember the first time. I remember the very first time that someone really made me feel bad, and I think that was when I was in ESL classes, and then they were getting rid of the program, and they ended up putting me in a regular English speaking class, and I became friends with this one person. I remember her name, but I'm not gonna say. I remember her name, and she was Haitian. And I didn't know that she was Haitian. And my mother said I could go over there, it was all right.